Most people think that productivity is about cramming in more hours, but the real secret, the real edge, is how you manage yourself, how you manage your energy, your focus, and the choices that you make. And these 5 hacks I'm going to give you today will help you to stop guessing for these things and actually start winning the week. And hack number 1 is manage your energy, not just your time. If you think about an Olympian like Michael Phelps, he didn't just dominate the swimming just because he trained super hard all the time. He managed his energy down to the smallest detail. Everything from sleep to nutrition to recovery to workouts, everything was completely designed so that he peaked when it mattered most. And the data backs this up. People who take breaks every 90 minutes have a 30% higher focus than those who grind endlessly. And if you're just relying on stimulants like caffeine, like nicotine, it spikes you and gets you that boost, but the stress hormones stick with you and actually leaves you crashing afterwards. If you think about something like a hybrid car, you can't just like floor it forever. You've got to recharge the batteries and fuel it up if you actually want to get there. And this leads us to hack number 2, which is to do the hard thing first. This is like hitting the heaviest lift at the start of your workout. Once you push through the hardest rep, everything afterwards feels lighter. And this is actually why you see workouts where you do your compound lift first. Compound lift meaning something like a deadlift, a squat, bench press. You do the hardest thing first, the biggest one first, and then you move on to the supplementary workouts like the dumbbell stuff, the lighter weight stuff. You do the big ones first and get them out of the way. And science shows that your willpower actually peaks in the first 2 to 3 hours of the day because that's when you're wired to handle the tough stuff when we're up and ready to roll. If you look at something like the Apollo 11 mission, out of all the problems that NASA had to solve, and so many of them, they tackled the most difficult one first, which is what? Landing safely on the moon. If we solve that, everything else becomes kind of manageable. We have to figure it out, but that's the big thing. How do we land safely on the moon? And your day works exactly the same way. Hit the hardest thing first. Once you've done that, it creates this domino effect where you can get everything else done and it doesn't actually feel that bad. Now, hack number 3 is to design your perfect week. So here's the truth. People who plan their week in advance are 42% more likely to hit their goals, and they feel less stressed because they're not wasting time and wasting energy deciding what they should do every day and every morning. Because you've planned it the night before or the week before, it just flows. NFL teams do this as well. Sunday isn't just game day, this is a reset day for the coaches. They map out the next week in detail of training for the team that they're going to face. So Monday isn't just about guessing like, oh, I guess we should work on tackling more. It's about executing. They already have that game plan put together on a Sunday for the next week. So if you think about like laying out your clothes the night before, except you're laying out the entire week. That's kind of what this process is. Zero wasted motion. Now, if you have a hard time with this process of planning out your week, because I've talked about that quite a lot and some people struggle with it because our industry ebbs and flows so much, I actually built out a GPT specifically for this. And it's completely designed from the ground up to help realtors get their week, get their time and focus so they know what to do. So if you want that GPT, there's a link in the description. You can grab that and that's my gift to you. Now, hack number 4 is compressing time. Remember Apollo 13, sticking on the space topic, right? The engineers had to solve a life-threatening problem with limited resources. So there was a massive time pressure that they were under, and it forced them to think sharper, think more clear, and save lives at the same time. If they had had months and months to figure that out, it would have been here and there, thinking about this. Yeah, it's really important, but we'll figure it out. But because they had such a short span of time to do it, they were on it. They were on top of it, and they knew how important it was and got that mission taken care of. This is Parkinson's law. That's when work expands to fill the time that you give it. If you have tight deadlines, they compress everything and suddenly you're sharper, faster, and more resourceful. Think about like running sprints with a parachute, right? Once the parachute comes off, you realize how much speed that you've actually unlocked. This is Parkinson's law. So if you never set deadlines for yourself, if you never say to yourself, I have to get it done this week or by Wednesday or by Tuesday or whatever that deadline is for you, it's just going to be an ongoing, continuing thing that you're kind of lackadaisical about. So we want to make sure that we shorten deadlines and compress the space and use Parkinson's law so we actually get things done. And you'll see this domino effect week after week after week. If you put big mission blocks every single week, your business will accelerate at the speed of light because you're doing the hard things and you're compressing time so you actually get it done to the deadline. And that brings us to the final hack here, the last one, number 5, is the not to-do list. I'm sure you have a to-do list, miles long, we all do. But what about the not to-do list? Warren Buffett once said that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that the latter say no to almost everything. And he's 100% right. In real estate, we have constant interruptions and distractions, and this is what Harvard calls time confetti, and it can steal 40% of your productive hours. When Steve Jobs came back to Apple after he was fired, he cut dozens of projects, dozens that they were working on, and just focused on a few. That ruthless clarity that he had created things like the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, and changed the entire landscape. Why? Because he had a not to-do list. He was like, we're not doing that. I'm saying no to that. I'm putting a boundary in place. That's not getting done. I'm saying yes to the things that matter. So your not to-do list is actually like a pruning tool. It's like cutting the branches that don't matter so the best things grow. There's a phenomenal book, I talk about it all the time, called The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. Go read it. It's all about how cutting the dead weight, cutting the things that are not useful to you, actually grow these massive pumpkins in your business, and it completely shatters everything you could have expected. So these 5 hacks, they aren't about doing more. They're about doing the right things with the right energy at the right time. Now, you don't have to go and do all these 5 at once. Think about one of these things. What could you start to put out? What could you test in your business this week that's going to help you? Drop it in the comments. And if you're serious about winning your week, hit subscribe and don't miss any of the videos that I've coming out on these topics. If you want that GPT I was talking about, the link is below. There's also a bunch of links there how I can help you with your business inside of the operator method, which is the path, the clock, the machine, to get you running a business where you actually operate it and don't let it just run your life. So until the next one, see you soon.